they're not wokesters anyway. So now war or threat of war is raging everywhere, and the two incompetent people running our country, or what, I don't actually think they're even running it, are leading us to the brink of World War III, a war like no other. This is what the policies of weakness and appeasement have brought to the world. And as I've been saying for a long time, terrible things can happen. When you have incompetent leadership, really bad things can happen. I mean, there's a story that I just told you about how quickly we took out the enemy that we were fighting for 20 years, close to 20 years. You wouldn't trust Joe or Kamala to run a lemonade stand anywhere, would you? If your child were running a stand, the way I used to run a lemonade stand, I'd say, Mom, outside of my house in Queens, I'd run. There weren't that many people walking in front of the stand, but I ran it. But if I wasn't going to run it, I wouldn't let one of those two run it because they wouldn't have any idea. Like Joe, he was essentially convicted of documents. I was, with all the weaponization, I went through years of hell. And I have the Presidential Records Act lets you do that. But I went through years of this. Well, he had the same thing times 10. And they found him, and he didn't have the Presidential Records Act because he wasn't president, right? And so he was guilty. And they said, okay, he's guilty, but we're not going to hold him to it because he's incompetent, right? That's what they said. Essentially, in a little different language, they said, we're not going to hold him to it, so he is guilty, but we don't think he can stand trial. But he's allowed to run our country, but he can't stand trial. I said, what's that all about? But I said, you know what? If that's the only way to get out, where they find you incompetent, I said, I'd rather be found guilty. I don't want that to be happening. I don't want that to be happening. But they weaponize government. It's no surprise that Iran desperately wants Kamala Harris to be president. They endorsed her. I think they actually endorsed her. I don't know. So did Putin. Putin endorsed her. And he was endorsed. He actually endorsed her with a smile on his face. He's going like, no, I think her. Oh, geez. He would want her. He would want. I don't think he knew exactly what to say. It was very interesting, actually. But he did. He said, I think she, because of her, he said, because of her experience. Oh, experience in losing. Because they know as long as she's in power, they can take advantage of America like never before. And, for 4 years, this country was respected. I was respected, but this country was respected. Viktor Orban said, if you bring Trump back, he's the head of Hungary, you bring Trump back, there won't be any problems anywhere. We had no problems in the world. But that's why they target me. That's why I'm targeted. I'm targeted by a lot. Iran and targeted, we know for a fact, but probably others. But they only target consequential presidents. They don't target Joe on the beach as he sleeps. He sleeps. How do you fall asleep when cameras are raging, right? You got the paparazzi, you got everybody. He's dead sound asleep. I wish I could have that secret because, that's a talent. I wish I could do that. Sleep with the cameras. Tommy, could you do that? I don't think Scott could do that, right? I don't think so. But if I were in charge, today's attack on Israel never would have happened. All of the things that we're talking about never would have happened, including that botched withdrawal that made us look so bad. Probably the reason that Russia went into Ukraine. They saw that, and because it was right after that, they saw that, and they said, wow, these people are not what we thought. If I win, we will have peace in the world again. I guarantee we will have peace in the world again. And if Kamala gets 4 more, unthinkable, right? If she gets 4 more years, the world goes up in smoke. This world will go up in smoke. So we're grateful to be joined today by some tremendous people from Wisconsin. I love Wisconsin. We should win Wisconsin. Will you please make sure? Right? If we win Wisconsin, we win. Right, Scott? Now, If we win Wisconsin, we win. That'll be a big one. And I've done a lot for Wisconsin, you know. The shipbuilding contract, I took such heat from other states. They wanted it, and I gave it to Wisconsin. And they're doing a good job, aren't they? I hear that. Big contract, one of the biggest contracts. They're doing a good job, but I took a lot of heat. And the Keystone XL pipeline, I know you had a lot of people involved in that. What a bunch of stupid people. Think of it. I rejected Putin's pipeline going through. I had it stopped. And I approved the Keystone XL pipeline, also the Dakota pipeline. By the way, isn't it nice to have a guy that doesn't need teleprompters to tell this stuff? Thanks. You know, I'm going through all these names, and it's not part of my thing. I'm going through all these names. You think Biden could do that? I don't think so. He can't remember. I won't say. I was going to almost say his wife's name, but I didn't want to say that. I almost said it. Remember when he called his sister his wife? Some things you can't do. You know what you can't do? I don't want to talk about him because he's gonzo. He's gonzo in many ways.